Just wait for a few more people to come in. We have 8 people watching right now. That's awesome. I kind of like this narrow format, you know? Yeah. I know you like it because you can hide, which is easier. Morning, Malcolm. But I'm going to angle the phone so that you get in there. All right, let me just, let's start because we got at least 10 people in and I don't want to. Morning, Alex. Congratulations, Alex, on your book. I don't know, is it on Kindle? Yeah, I know it's coming out soon, Alex. Paige, that's the perfect, it looks peachy, which is perfect. Marianne, hello, welcome. Let Emily know. Hello, good morning, Emily. Good morning, Tanya. Good morning, Diane. Hello, welcome. Good morning, Tina. Hi. Is it Emily? Let me make sure I got the right name. Who's 5 years? Who's the one that's 5 years old? And I still say hello anyway. And we are live on YouTube. Good morning, Chris Mendoza. And everyone on YouTube, hello. Good morning, Allison. Welcome. Mary Elaine, hello. Good morning. Mark, good morning. I say good morning, but I know that some of you are in different time zones. So take that good morning and just apply it to the time zone you're in. Have a fantastic day at work, Mandy. Be careful and be safe out there. Good morning, Jeanette. Oh, Alex says his book will be on Kindle. I know it's available now in print, but if you can, Alex, put the link up. But it'll be available in Kindle on the 15th of October, so we'll make sure to give it a nice push on the 15th, Alex, as well. Good morning, Darren. Welcome. Emily. Oh, Shell, it's your granddaughter. It's awesome. My cup is very cool. This is my cup. Where's your cup? Okay. The other cup is a Black Widow cup, but this is the original Iron Man cup because I'm the original Iron Man. Good morning, Davina. Well, good afternoon, Davina. Yes, we'll all get Alex's book because Alex is part of the mob, so that's what we do. So yes, way good morning. Oh, that's right, Jeanette. It's like crazy early where you are. So 2:30 in the morning, good morning for you. Amazing. Thank you for being here, Jeanette. Do you actually lose sleep to be here with us? That's pretty awesome. I mean, in an insomnia kind of way. Let's see. All right. So let's get started. All right. Welcome to our, if this is your first time, welcome to our Mob TV live event, Cafe Clutch. This is episode 33. Yes, it's all clean shaven now. Well, it's getting a little fuzzy, but clean shaven. This is episode 33. I want to give a shout out to the older tribe and to the younger tribe, one who's floating around behind me. Where's my young tribe? Say hello. Hi. Make a cameo appearance. There she goes. That's the youngest of the tribe. So hi to everybody and to my sister who's either driving home or home by now. So to everyone in YouTube, hello, welcome, and thank you for being here with us. And those of you on YouTube and those of you in the mob, make sure that you like, subscribe, and share our channel on YouTube, and let everybody know about what we're doing here. And we're on Instagram under Bitten Peaches. I don't think I've put anything in the last few days, but I'm trying to make sure that we have regular posts on Instagram. And don't forget to visit our ZAZZLE store, which is awesome and has a crazy amount of stuff that Dolly keeps putting up on the page. So that store has exploded with stuff. So please go visit our ZAZZLE store and get your swag. In addition, we have, I know Glenn has pushed it a lot and I've pushed it as much as I could, but we have 2 coupon codes for Death Wish coffee. Those of you that I've addicted to death, I've got helped get addicted to the Death Wish. It's JAVAMBROSIA for 10% off everything in the store except for subscriptions. Or Glenn, I think it's VESTJAVAMBROSIA, because Glenn's last name is Vest, and he was the one who started it. So VESTJAVAMBROSIA, same thing, 10% off anything in the store except subscriptions. Wow, these announcements are getting longer and longer. And don't forget our newsletter. We have a newsletter under Orlando A. Sanchez. Join the newsletter because you get things there that you may not find anywhere else. All right. Ayrton, good morning. I can't wait to see when you write your first book, Ayrton. Tell him I'm doing good. Ayrton, I'm doing really well, and I'm glad to hear that you're doing well also. Good morning for me, but it's probably good afternoon for you. So I'm guessing he's home from school if he's in school. Yeah, ZAZZLE definitely rules, Darren, for sure. More stuff. Yes, Cynthia. Dolly, she's been busy because the kids are all virtual right now. And so, she basically handles the logistics of the kids in school and setting them up and making sure they're in class and making sure it runs smoothly. So she spends all day kind of just running around making sure all the classes are working well, internet's up, everything while I'm writing. So she kind of runs interference. While I'm writing, she's wrangling all the kids, making sure they're in class. They get to the next class, etc. But when she gets a moment, she adds stuff to the ZAZZLE store in addition to all the other stuff that she does. So, yeah, she's putting up some awesome stuff. So she's constantly working on the ZAZZLE or thinking of things to put in the ZAZZLE store. But, there are only so many hours in a day. And she does a lot with the kids. So, yeah. Jenny, I'm sure you can hang a skateboard. I'm actually thinking of getting the one of each skateboard deck for me to hang up because they just look so awesome. I don't ride skateboards, but the decks look so great. Just have one of all of those because the artwork is so awesome and just have them hanging up. So I wonder if I can do that. Audrey, question queen, good morning. Renee, good morning. Welcome. Mark, you made it. Good morning. It's like Dolly was saying yesterday, because anytime that she gets a moment, like let's say 5 minutes to do anything, all you hear in the background is "Ma," and it's like not even 5 minutes, like 30 seconds. She constantly gets interrupted because either something's up with the internet or one of the computers is down. We have like a laptop central in the house now, and so she's constantly being interrupted throughout the day. It's like, can you do this? Can you do that? Yes, Davina says, do I have virtual kids? The good thing about virtual kids is you can mute those. Good morning, RC. Welcome. Hope you get to traveling soon. So Dolly constantly gets interrupted, so it's hard for her to kind of do anything continuously because it's do something, stop, do something else, stop. It's hard, but we'll work it out. We'll see. Darren wants to know if I'm doing any weight training at this point. I'm doing kettlebell training. So I have two 50-pound kettlebells right now under my desk, which is what I'm starting with. They're light. In the hallway, far from here, down on the other end, on the other wing, I have two 80-pound kettlebells and two 103-pound kettlebells. And once I outgrow the 103-pound kettlebells, I'll order heavier kettlebells like 125 or 200. Because for the deadlifts, I was deadlifting close to 550, so I need to have something similar to that. And they do make 250-pound kettlebells. I don't know how I would get those in the house. I think they would sink through the floor, so I don't know about those. But they do make 200-pound kettlebells, so maybe those. Yeah, so we'll see. Kettlebell training kicks my butt. I used to go to the gym. For those of you who like to train and work out and go to the gym, kettlebell training is a completely different type of training. So it's ballistic cardio weight resistance. And what it does, it makes you work all those little muscles that you kind of ignore when you do regular barbell training. Barbell training is a little more static. You go under the bar, you lift, and then you're done. Kettlebell training, there's a lot of swinging, there's a lot of moving. So it really does kill you when you do it seriously. Yeah. Bradley, yes, Bradley. Welcome, Bradley. Yes, it's a lot of metal. I used to do kettlebell training before I went to the gym seriously, and then I outgrew my 103s because I was lifting a lot heavier than that. But I'm not going to the gym now because of the whole COVID thing, and so I'm staying home. So I have to go back to that. Aaron says his rescue bots are there, except for a rope plant because his arm is down. Go get rope plant to the mechanic then, Ayrton. Yeah. I don't know. Dolly sounds like you need a what? What is it that you need a hide in HR? You need a hide or you need to hide?
A hidey hole.
Oh, a hidey hole. Yes, that's what she uses the bathroom for. Yeah, basically, Chris. Yeah, working in the car yards where you hide. You can kind of say, okay, I'm going to be working on this, but even the bathroom you get interrupted because if you go to the bathroom, then it's I need to use the bathroom. So they start talking. Even the bathroom, she gets questions through the door. So not even the bathroom is safe. Jeanette, yeah, 4 kilograms. Listen, when I started my kettlebells, I started with 30 pounders, and it was small, but you get started, you get stronger, and then you move up. Yeah, kettlebell training it feels what I've learned with kettlebell training is that it's a more thorough full body training, so that nothing you can't hide. I mean, everything gets worked in a kettlebell training program. You can't. It's not like you're just gonna work your squats. Or you're just gonna work. Everything works. Your entire body works. So if your wrist get banged up, Paige, it's because of the way you're putting your hand through the kettlebell to make it come around. You kind of have to catch the kettlebell as opposed to just letting it swing around your hand. My wrist used to get banged up like crazy in the beginning because I wasn't comfortable with that whole. It's your grip, which is another thing kettlebells do is they work that grip. So yeah. All right, so let's talk about what's happening. Dark Glass is still out there doing really well, so don't forget to leave your reviews. I know we got a lot of reviews, so please, if you haven't reviewed yet, and I know, like I've always said, life happens. I get it. Make sure you leave your review for Dark Glass. I'm working on Walking the Razor now, and it feels like it's moving slowly, but it's also because the book is going to be longer than usual, so that's going to be fun. But there's a lot of setup to the wow moments, so it's a lot of fun because, as I was telling Dolly the other day, Walking the Razor feels a lot like Simon is now Monty and Jessica is like Simon, because Jessica's kind of clueless and Simon's kind of telling her like, you have no idea what you're getting yourself into. So it's been, hello Heather, so it's been pretty crazy, so it's pretty awesome. Let's see. Renee says knee is doing great. I'm glad to hear your knee is doing fantastic. Don't do knee bends yet, Renee. Just walk. Regular walking is good for now. Just take it slow. Heather timidly holds up her sign. Her manuscript is done. Yay to Heather. Fantastic. I'm glad to hear that your manuscript is done. Hardest part is getting it done. Finishing and then starting. Yeah, starting and then finishing. Let's see. Jeanette gets chased by the cats to the bathroom. Oh, yeah, because they want company. Davina wants to know, when do we get Razor? It should go to the art in the middle of November. Right? Middle of November, we said? Middle of November. So it gets to the art. And then shortly after that, it gets out. Chris says Dark Glass time is an illusion. Basically, it is. Yeah. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Jeanette. Yeah, Dark Glass was a lot of fun to write. And despite the ending that a lot of people were like, it's still a lot of fun to write. Carrie, welcome. Congratulations again, Carrie, on 3rd place. We all think we should have gotten 1st place, of course, but congratulations on 3rd place in your contest. Yeah, Craig, about 5. Yeah, I'm moving pretty quickly on it, Craig. And welcome. Good morning, Craig. Thanks for the trailer for Fat Man. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch, Fat Man. All right, let me get to the updates quick. So reviews for Dark Glass, please leave them because they help the book. They just help with social proof. Blood Rule, the box set should be coming out this month. So we'll be leaving it probably a week or so, the whole box set. So I know people were waiting to get it, but the box set, with pricing, and so if you got the books individually, it's still going to be the same. So no one who got the books individually is going to feel like, oh, I should have waited till the box set. It's going to be the same. It's just that some people really enjoy box sets. So don't feel like you're going to be left out. You're going to get the box set for the same price as getting the books individually. So I don't want anyone who got the books individually and had to wait through the cliffhangers feel like, oh, I should have waited and I would have got it for a better price. No, it'll be the same thing. Carrie, yes, Carrie is now a published author. Yay! You were always an author, now you're a published author. So congrats, Carrie. Well deserved. Let's see, Walking the Razor will be out so don't forget to leave your reviews for Blood Rule, which is the last one of the Rule of the Council of Michigo's story. Which, you guys should let me know, did it wrap up well enough for you guys? Are you okay with the wrap up of the books? Like there aren't too many. don't think I left too many threads dangling in Blood Rule. But let me know if it feels like it wrapped up well. Yeah, right, Craig. The box set would be, what's it? The first one is 99 cents. The second one is $2.99. The third one is $2.99. So that's 3, 6, 7. So $6.99 for the box set would be the box set, Craig. In US dollars. I don't know what that translates to in pounds. So, but yeah, around $6.99 for the box set, which is the same cost as 99 cents for the first one, $2.99, $2.99. So same thing. So that way, because I know people who won't get it unless it's a box set, and I don't want them to feel like, oh, I don't want to get it if it's individual. So yeah, thanks, Chris. Thanks for letting me know that it wrapped up nicely. Yes, RC asks, so I have a Kindle Unlimited. When I get a book through that, does it benefit the author? Yes, because the page reads count for the author. I don't know how they figure it. Amazon pays by page read. So I think you have to read the entire book, but it does benefit the author. So yes, it does, RC. And that's why I always put the books, like I've always said, I put the books on KU because a lot of people can't get the books. If we had to buy the books individually, myself personally, I would bankrupt myself for all the books that I want to get. Hello, Joe. Welcome. Let's see. Cynthia says, I'm liking the masks because I have a wardrobe of them. Because I change out every day, driving my bus, clients. Oh, yeah, so you have to wear masks every day. That's right, for sure. So, yeah, I just ordered a mask from our ZAZZLE store. I think I got the peaches one, and that says Mages of Badassery on the other side. So, yeah, awesome. Okay, so don't forget to leave your reviews for Blood Rule, and when we leave the series out, leave the reviews for them because it helps both. Amazon sees it as two different entities, even though it's the same story. So... And I'm glad you enjoyed the Blood Council books. Who was that? Someone enjoyed the Blood Council books. The feed is going fast. So whoever that was, I just saw it. Oh, I can do it here. Hold on a second, guys. I keep... Oh, Tina. I'm glad you enjoyed the Blood Council books. Awesome. Ooh. You know what, Davina? Ayrton says he's going to be brave and let you try and cut his fingernails. Try to teach him to cut his own fingernails if you can. I know it's a sharp thing, but maybe he can learn how to do it like on one finger. He can practice on one finger and then later on maybe 2 fingers under supervision, obviously. But yeah. Dawnblade 2015 and Audrey Singe and I are both watching it live on YouTube. Awesome. What is Dawnblade 2015? Is this something new that I've missed? Wow. Yeah, I don't know if our books on Audible. All our books are on Audible. So, yeah. Okay, awesome. All right, so let's continue. So, Walking the Razor should be out in December. The art is mid-November. And I'm already starting to do the research for the next sepia. There's also another story that's being written kind of secretly, simultaneously with Walking the Razor, which will be out soon. TM. So, but it's really fun. The only person that's read it besides me is Dolly. So there you go. And I think the mods have seen some of it, but Dolly, basically. Darren says you need to write a non-fiction book on effective writing while balancing a personal life. Yes. Yeah, that's going to be... I don't know if I could manage... I don't know if I've been really successful at that. We'll see. I'll think about it, Darren. I don't know. Non-fiction writing is very different from fiction writing, I think. I think it's still based on a story, right? Yes, Jeanette. There was a lot that was uncovered. Jeanette says we learned a lot with the Blood Council books. There's a lot that's uncovered, and then there's a lot more questions that need to be answered. So it's a little bit of both. All right, so audiobooks. Now that someone mentioned audiobooks, Book 5, Homecoming, and Book 6, Dragons and Demigods, are both out. And so now Bullets and Blades is being worked on. Book 7, Kevin is working on it, our narrator, the awesome narrator. And Book 8 he's already sent for production. Book 8 is, what is Book 8? Hell Hath No Fury? What's it? Book 8? Yes. Yeah, Hell Hath No Fury. Hell Hath No Fury is Book 8. That's already worked. That's being worked. It's being produced. He's got to do the first 15 minutes. There's a whole process. I got to accept the first 15 minutes. It goes back and forth for a little bit. Then he does the entire book. Then we got to read that, accept that, and it's a whole long drawn out process. It takes about a month. So audiobooks that are now, we're up to book 6 of All the Monty and Strong. Eventually we're going to do All the Monty and Strong, and then we'll branch out into other things. All right, let's see. Dragons and Demigods is now available, I believe. Isn't it available on audio? Yeah? Someone said they're waiting for it. Or is it the next? No, Dragons and Demigods number 6 should be available. Yeah. Mark says I should write a book on writing while bench pressing an SUV. No, that's a little too hard to do. So, yes, Carrie, that's the book that should be written. Dolly should write a book on balancing a normal life living with an author. Yes.
Oh, sorry, Dragons and Demigods end of October because there was that Audible issue.
Oh, yeah. There was an Audible issue. Thank you, Dolly. There was an Audible issue with the Audible side of things that they picked up some ambient noise. So it had to go back to the producer. So Dragons and Demigods should be at the end of October because they had to go back to the producer, remove the Audible ambient noise because there can't be anything in the background. And then they'll release it because it's ready to be released. Bradley says Homecoming was awesome. Oh, yeah, Kevin is a fantastic narrator, Bradley. And Jeanette says you re-listen. Yeah, I listen. When I get them for approval, I listen to them. Ayrton was super brave. Yes, I know he's super brave, of course. And I'm glad that he was able to get his nails cut because it's safer for him to have them cut. Otto was being... Yeah, They just Jeanette, they just don't like having any kind of ambient noise in the background because of the quality of production. They want to make sure that it's free of any kind of noise in the background. So Chris is asking for help if you have any book samples to upload to our YouTube channel. So all the people who prefer audiobook. So let Chris know. Yes. I have a few readers that are truckers or people who drive a lot, and they always ask me for the audiobooks also. So the audiobooks we have discovered that it's a really big thing. Okay, so let me just continue with our notes. Also, tomorrow we're going to be hanging out with John Logsdon at 11 in the morning EST, our time, and doing a dysfunctional hangout. I don't know what to do. It's kind of just a talk. I don't know if he's interviewing me or we're just going to get up to our usual shenanigans and just fool around for a while. So that's tomorrow at 11. So if you haven't signed up for that event, if you haven't, you should, because we always have fun when John and I get together. It's insanity. So yeah, please do that too. Let's see, what else do we have? So after Walking the Razor, the next book is going to be Sepia, obviously. I'm cutting it close to the end of the year, so it's going to be end of the year, probably beginning of next year, but I'm already working on it. So, it's going to get done, guys. So don't despair. Yeah, let's see. Well, yeah, as long as you can listen to, I can't work out. Bradley says he runs, loose interpretation of the word, and he loves audiobooks for his early morning workouts. I can't listen to an audiobook and work out, but I can listen to vocal music and write. But for working out, I listen to really instrumental music for training. Jeanette says Kevin is, yeah, it's Kevin Collins, if I'm not mistaken, and he's an excellent narrator. And he's also a very busy narrator, so yeah. Well, when Aiden sees that button, Davina says Aiden hasn't seen the button to join the video, so he keeps asking if you can make it so I can see him. So when he finds that button, you're in trouble. So be ready. Right, as Dolly says, if you read in the post, Dolly kind of clarified it that book 7 there was an issue, and we'll get it back from them. So there you go. Jeanette says may have Thomas too early. Yeah, I'm not getting that at all, Jeanette. It sounds like you had 2 very early mornings. Ouch. So yes. Davina wants to know if she's the only one in the group who doesn't have a fitness regimen or regime. I'm thinking regimen. Probably not, Davina, but there are probably a lot of people who don't. It's just that it's highlighted because I do, and a lot of people kind of gravitate to that. Good morning, Lee. Welcome. But there's a lot of things that consist of a fitness regimen that aren't traditional fitness regimen, like watching a little one at home, racing after them, working, cleaning the house, back and forth. That's a lot of motion. So yeah, it may not consist of going to the gym, but there's a lot of work. So yeah. Darren asks, have I tried music put out by Leah? She does fantasy metal. Amazing. I have not, but I will now, Darren. So it sounds interesting. Yeah. So don't feel bad, Davina. It's it is what it is. Malcolm says, fitting this pizza into my stomach. See, for some people, the lifting is just lifting the pizza. See, there you go. And for some people, it's just taking a walk. So it all depends on what your body allows you to do. I've had both extremes. I've had it where I'm lifting a lot of weight and going crazy, and I've had it where I can't walk across the floor because one of my limbs doesn't feel like functioning that day. So it depends. You do what your body allows you to do. It's really what it is. Yeah, well, when you first go to the gym, it could be pretty scary. That's true, because especially if you don't know your way around and those weights, it could be scary. It's always good to have someone to help you with that kind of stuff. Yeah. Reading until your arms get tired. Count. Yeah, Tina, for sure. And Kyrie says her thumbs get a lot of exercise, because if you're playing PS4, let me tell you, your thumbs, they get really strong. So yes. So all those things count. 2:20 a.m. needs coffee. Yes, Jeanette, you should be drinking Death Wish. You'd be up from 2:20 to the next 2:20, so without an issue, for sure. And it's awesome that you're here with us, Jeanette. Thank you for being here. Lifting a wine glass to your mouth takes strength and I'm gonna guess concentration or coordination. Either way, that's also work. Exercise is very good for your mental health, for sure. It does. It's been proven that it's very good for your mental health. So if you can do some kind of exercise, it doesn't have to be going to a gym, it can be walking, whatever you can do, it's good for your mental health, especially if you're under quarantine and you can't go out, or because of what's happening around the world right now. Yes, you should definitely do something to move your body. It doesn't have to be lifting monster weights like what I do. And trust me, what I do, there are people who do a lot more than that. So there you go. Just move your body somehow. That's all. Chris walks for his heart, which is important. Walking is good. I did a nice walk yesterday, so it was really good. Dolly does dessert lifting, which is very heavy also. Good morning, Linda. Welcome. Cafegeddon. I don't know, Alex. I haven't tried Cafegeddon. I think you sent me some. I still haven't tried it because I haven't been able to grind the beans. But I still have all the beans you sent me. So I might get to that. Renee's working on saddle sores from the bike now. Yeah, that's rough. When I used to do a lot of biking, I had to have a special seat and wear the special shorts, because that constant motion would definitely do that. Darren says there's lots and lots of good science supporting exercise as part of mental health. Yes, improves your cognition, your memory, emotion regulation, and relationships. Exercise is good for you. You just have to find out what exercise means for you. So yeah. So that's really what it comes down to. Let's see. Okay, what else do we have? Well, we got a lot of time. We've only been doing it for half an hour. This is so good. I always think at 12 we're done, and we still have another half hour. It's awesome. Okay, let's see. Not yet, Mark. I've been slacking on that because I've been writing, and doing a lot of other stuff. So not yet. I haven't gotten the D&D game off. Joe says body combat. Let's see, I saw the feet go so fast. Body combat, body pump, and Hellion walking. Yeah, that'll do it. I always say martial arts is a fantastic workout as well. If you can get into it and you can practice it regularly, martial arts is fantastic. So, Tina, Malcolm Robinson, I found it at Walmart. And what have you found at Walmart and Target? The Death Wish? Yes. Death Wish is around at regular stores now. So there you go. Writing is good for you, Linda. What we were talking about is exercise as being good for you, because Jeanette was mentioning that it was good for her mental health, and everything that could be good for your mental health is good. Darren wants to know if I'm still writing 2,500 words per day. On average, I'm writing about 2,000, 2,500. Yeah, on average, because I'm working on 2 different stories. So I kind of give like 1,000, 1,200 on one, 1,200 on the other. So it averages out to about 2,500, and that kind of keeps my brain all right, you know. Jeanette says she had severe issues with depression and the limits of what we can do. Medication means I'm using, right? Yeah, kind of to supplement what meds you can take. And obviously, I'm not a doctor, but you know the meds you can take with depression are limited depending on your physiology. But exercise really helps with that. So you do what you can with the medicine, with science, but then you also do what you can with physical, you know, training, any kind of exercise that you can that helps you with the meds that you're taking. Let's see. Who says they feel really unfit now? Let's see. Davina. Yeah, and again, you know, sometimes your body just won't cooperate. You know, don't feel unfit, Davina, because sometimes your body, when you have physical things that your body prevents you from doing, then you do whatever you can. That's all. And don't feel bad about it. Just do whatever you can to try and stay as healthy as you can. That's really what it comes down to. Laura can't stay for long. She's got to go. So it's good that you popped in and visit us. Okay? Let's see. Yeah, you can. I mean, you should. There's like, I don't know if you can, Davina. There's like yoga. There's Tai Chi. You don't have to be. The Tai Chi that I see is usually a lot of really elderly people doing it in the park in the morning. Like yesterday, I saw them in the morning, around 6 something in the morning. And they move very slow, and they're doing their Tai Chi. So there's things like that you can do, that hopefully you can do with your body. But if you can't even do that, you do the best that you can. That's all. There you go, Jenny. Why don't you, Jenny has some info, so you can definitely ask Jenny, you know. All right, so what did we talk about? Mage ages and shifting. How did that go? Wow. Just being outside. Yeah. Chris, yeah, I totally agree. Chris says just being outside is perfect for helping my depression big time. Sometimes just getting sun. Just getting outside, getting sun, getting the breeze is good for your mental state. Because sometimes we're inside because of what's happening with the pandemic and everything, we're inside all the time. Just getting outside for a walk is sometimes just so good for you. So, yeah. RC says training in AC/DC will keep you sane no matter how stressful the day. Trust me on this. I don't know about the AC/DC part, but definitely the training for sure. For sure. Hello, Karen. Welcome. What have you missed? We've talked about so many things in like such a short span of time, but yeah, Tai Chi is a good segue in. So yeah, Tai Chi is fantastic. Tai Chi, we'll talk about martial arts or any kind of physical activity to help your mental states, because we discuss everything here at the Mob and in our Cafe Clutches. So in this case, we're talking about how dealing with depression or any other kind of issue is only benefited by physical movement, physical exercise. So I gave Tai Chi as an example. So yeah. Darren says there's a whole domain of science called environmental psychology that studies the positive and negative impacts of different environments in human psychology. Yeah, we are affected by our surroundings. There's a reason why things like solitary confinement really work, because we're social beings and our environment affects us, not just physically, but mentally. So yeah, it does have a direct impact on how we are as human beings, our environment. Carrie says, oh, I live in Britain getting sun. Yeah, the last time when I was in London, I think I saw the sun. I was there for 2 weeks. Maybe a day or two was really sunny, like wow, sunny. And that was the day when everyone came out. The rest of the time, it was overcast, or it looked like it was going to rain. So it's hard to be a cheerful person living in a place that's always overcast. So hats off to all of you that live across the pond and have a great mood. Because, yeah, I can't, for me personally, living in a place that's always overcast would be tough. Because it looks like it's always going to rain. At least when I went to London for those 2 weeks. Yeah. Tina says low vitamin D will make depression worse. B vitamins can help. See, these are things that we learn. So yeah, those are things that, again, that's this kind of stuff that you want to monitor because it keeps you okay. It keeps you mentally okay and physically okay. All right, RC, the adults have found you. Go, have a great day. I hope you get to traveling soon. I'm looking forward to seeing your pictures from around the world. We'll travel vicariously through you too. Let's see. Davina says one of the things that she does for her mental health is coloring with a U. It's definitely English. Just need that M&S coloring book. Yeah, it's another thing we need to work on, an M&S coloring book. That would be so awesome. Karen says, welcome to England. Yeah, I got that impression when I was advised never to leave where I was staying without an umbrella. And then I realized how true that was, because I would be out, it would look bright, I could actually see the sky, it would be clear, and not an hour or two later, it would start to rain. It's a really interesting weather pattern you have over there. So Paige has some Death Wish stuff if you want to try, Malcolm, because I think it's hard to get Death Wish across the pond. So contact Paige, Malcolm, and she can connect you to some Death Wish. Davina, what problem do you have? Which is the opposite problem you have? Let's see, Papa. Dolly asks if the current artwork would be all right, because it's probably where we can work it so with our designers that we can probably get black and whites and create a coloring book. That would be awesome, actually. Oh, Darren says he loves daily rain. I actually like the rain, but I also live somewhere where it doesn't rain every day. So there you go. All right then. Alex says low vitamin D can also increase cardiac arrhythmias, and Alex is a doctor, so I'll take his word for it. That would not be good, low vitamin D. And funny books are a huge help, Tina. I agree. For sure. What else do we have to discuss? Wow, it's pretty awesome that we're here today. Davina, you cannot escape Ayrton. I don't think even if you tried, you can't. And it seems like Jeanette, it seems like Paige is our Death Wish liaison. So there you go. Elaine says the weather was really good to her today. They let her get in the car before it threw it down. I got to a rainbow most of the way home. That's nice. At least you didn't get drenched, Elaine, which is awesome. So, just to comment on some of the stuff, I don't want to give any spoilers away, but for those of you who read Dresden, the last two books were excellent. I think that's about all I want to say on that because everything else will start spoiling it. So the last two books were fantastic. Battleground and Peace Talks and Battleground, although it took him 5 years to write those two books, like not to actually write them, but to get them out. Don't forget that he's traditionally published, so they probably pushed it because it was a 20-year anniversary. Peace Talks and Battleground were actually one book, and it came out really well done. And I think I finished both. I finished each book in a day, if not less. So if you haven't read it yet, you should, because it's very classic Dresden. The things that he does in that book, they still leave you. I'm still a little shell-shocked from what he did. It goes back to kind of some of the things that he did in the earlier books, but you should definitely get it. Jeanette says, I will hunt you down if you do a Battleground. So, yeah, I would never do a Battleground. I don't think I could ever... I'm not going to say never, but I am strongly inclined not to do a Battleground, Jeanette. Only because it's such a radical impact that it has. Yeah, I'm going to pass on. As a reader, as me reading it, I was like, wow, I can't believe he went there. So, yeah, I don't think I could do that. Let's see what Chris says. He said, I talked to my provider about the internet being slow. I lucked out with a cool tech, and when she found out I needed to... Oh, awesome. Yeah, because sometimes they throttle you, Chris. Like, we had that issue here, too, where the internet provider will throttle your connection, and if you pay a little extra, they'll bump up your speed. So that's pretty awesome. Mark, I feel your pain and anxiety. Yeah, Battleground is something else. Yeah. So here's the thing. I read Peace Talks, and it felt really slow. So I stopped reading Peace Talks because I knew Battleground was coming out. I got Peace Talks when it came out, but I knew Battleground was going to come out in a few months, so I waited. So I stopped Peace Talks because it felt a little slow. Once Battleground came out, I got Peace Talks. It still felt a little slow, but I made it through, and I realized that Peace Talks was just the first half of the book. So it was the build up to everything that started happening in Battleground, and it's like, wow. Yeah, Battleground was something else. Yeah, it was something else. And I'm glad that he got to it, and I'm really glad that the books are doing well. So he'll be encouraged to write Mirror, Mirror, which is the next book. I think he has 3 more books left for Dresden. He said something about 20 books total. So there you go. Let's see. So Jeanette says it also fits in with issues about achievement and some characters. Yes, it does. It does. Well, Karen says those Dresden books are excellent. Need to rechristen him GRR. The thing, I haven't read Martin, so I can't speak to how the books are. I know they got made into a show, so obviously there was a serious demand. But my first real, I wouldn't say exposure or experience to urban fantasy was Jim Butcher was one of them. So he has a kind of a special place in my writing history. And he was true to form in these last 2 books. So it's really great to see 17 books later that he's still writing well. Because, that's a lot of books to write and to keep a series going and to keep it interesting. And so 17 books later, the story still captures you. It's riveting. And you're like, wow. So it's amazing. Also, Mark says it's going to be 24. I can see there being 24 books. Yeah. I read True Blood. That's Charlene. I believe that's Charlene Harrison, the vampire series. It was good. I read up until it started getting strange after about 6 or 7 books. And I kind of stopped. But for the first few books, it was a lot of fun, that series. Charlene Harris. I think what happened was the same thing, kind of like what happened with Martin. True Blood became an HBO show, and then that was something that kind of changed the books for Charlene. So, but I read the first few books. I was getting them in the library, and they were really good. And then it changed. So I don't know what happened to Charlene with that. I think the HBO series got ahead of it or got deviated too much from the books, and that might have been it. But I saw one episode of the show. It was good. The cook, oh my God, I forgot his name. Jeez. Is it Lafayette? I forgot what his name is. But the cook in the show was phenomenal. He stole every episode. So I forgot the actor. If you remember who the actor was in True Blood, who played the cook, he's the one who stole that show. Let's see. Darren says he's starting 2 research projects. No, this feed goes by so fast. Let's see. 2 research projects, 2 studies on the psychology of hip-hop role-playing games. Oh yeah, it's good. There've been a lot of studies like that, Darren. So good luck. Book-wise, Dresden. And he bought it for him. Yeah. It was, for me, Dresden the one. So Chris, for me, Dresden was the character that resonated the most with me when I first read urban fantasy. I had read Kim Richardson and Harrison and a few other urban fantasies, but once I read Dresden, it started resonating for me. And then I kept reading it, and I said, you know what? I think I could try writing this. And then you guys know the rest. Lafayette, yes. And I watched the show for Dresden, which was pretty awesome too. But I've been reading what could be qualified as urban fantasy for pretty much most of my life. It's just that I think Butcher, not James the Butcher in M&S, but Butcher, he kind of caught the essence of what appealed to me as a reader and then as a writer. And then I saw the show, and it was also really good, the Dresden show. But I was ashamed that they canceled it. But it was a really good show. It wasn't as true to the books as it could have been. But have any of you read Codex Alera or the other books that Butcher has written? Because I haven't read any of the other ones. I've only read Dresden, and I know he's written other series. I just haven't read them. Yes, Mark Lafayette, Nelson Ellis. Yeah, I believe he passed away too, so it's a shame. But yeah. Patricia Briggs, I hear good things about Patricia Briggs, and I hear the Mercedes Lackey series is also very good, I hear. So there's a lot of stuff out there that I haven't read yet. So I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I need an extra week every week to be able to read those. See, like I can read a Dresden book in a day because of the way it flows. It flows very much to the way my brain works. So that's why I can read it so fast. Oh yeah, I didn't see. For me, I never got into the Arthurian Gambit, even though I like Michael Anderle and his writing. I've read some of it, but I never got into it. But I hear good things about Anderle's writing. So there you go. That's his first. And that's an interesting vampire in space, which is a whole different. I mean, it's like almost a genre unto itself. It's like sci-fi fantasy vampires in space. Yeah, there you go. And he kind of smashed all those together and kind of created his own genre. Bye, Laura. Thank you for visiting. Thank you for being here. Have a great weekend, Laura. Karen asks, have I read who? Mathre? Junkyard Jewelry. So I know Massey. I know MD Massey personally. Great guy. I've never read any of his books. I don't know. I'm probably sure he hasn't read any of my books either. So, but yeah, he has some good writing. The Junkyard Jewelry, I read a few chapters in terms of that, but I haven't read any complete books. Aiding Starling, again, I know her from the 20 books to 50K, and I hear the 17 and the Legion series are excellent. Haven't read any of them. There's a lot that I have not read, but I know the authors. I think it's part of writing, you know? Dragon Riders of Pern is kind of like urban fantasy set in its own world, and that goes way back. And I read some of that, but even now it's like, again, there's some Pern that I haven't even read. Yeah, Chris, yeah, Michael was on the cutting edge of kind of like independent indie author, so he started pretty much when it started really taking off. So his Arthurian Gambit has so many books on, and it has so many offshoots, because he's allowed other people to write in the universe. So there you go. I know R.L. King as well, personally, the author, because these are people who go to 20 books, 50K. The Alistair Stone, I've actually read part of book 1, which is excellent. The Alistair Stone Chronicles are fantastically written. I just haven't had the time to read them. And she's got like, oh my God, I think it's like 17 books also, and even more in the Stone Chronicles. Yeah, I have not read Water Viper. No. R.J. Blaine, again, R.J. Blaine I don't know because we've never met in the real sense, but we've spoken online, and R.J. Blaine has a fantastic wit. And she's prolific. She writes a lot. But I haven't read anything by her. I think I own the Water Viper because it was recommended to me. So there you go. Piers Anthony, Cynthia says. Piers, what I used to love about Piers' books were that and I hope I'm not getting this wrong, the titles were always had double meanings. So and I didn't realize this until I was much older and I could see the double meanings. But when I was younger, you would just read the title. Until I got older, I realized, wait, this title could mean something else. And that was one of the interesting thing about Piers. So there you go. But I grew up with the Xanth series with Piers. So yeah. 2122 page says on Alistair Stone. And I don't think she's slowing down anytime soon. So that's fantastic. Shell says she's read every Pern book. Yeah, I think the Pern book those are some of the books, I think, like up there with Tolkien, where they were the foundational books for a lot of us that kind of set the worlds and created a generation of writers, you know? Let's see, Ayrton says he likes Astrosaurs. It's dinosaurs in space. Yeah, it's like genre smashing, which is awesome. It's things like that. When you're young, you read these books and these things, and then they just later on they're like seeds, and they take root, and later on they germinate, and you create something else in your adulthood. So tell Ayrton to keep reading, which is awesome. On a Pale Horse. Wow, that's a long time ago. Yeah, Mort. Well, if you're referring to Sir Terry's Mort, then yes, anything by Sir Terry Pratchett is automatically awesome. So that's all I can say on that. Yeah. Soul Music and the City Watch books. Soul Music was really good. I think everything by Sir Terry was fantastic. But I think the City Watch were like some of the best of that Discworld books. The City Watch books were like some of the best ones. Karen says, Matthew Riley, not UF, but brilliant and very fast paced. Okay, yeah, I'll have to look into Matthew Riley then, for sure. Jasper Ford is another one who I got to read part of the first book, and he has such great writing. Haven't been able to read the book yet, so there you go. Read everything by Anthony. Oh, by Piers Anthony. Yeah, Piers is fantastic. Piers is in a class by himself, and I think he's still writing, which is amazing. So he's right up there with Robert Silverberg, was the first and only author I've seen to use juggling in a book. Robert Silverberg, which completely, when I read it, amazed me that someone would use juggling in a book the way he did, because it was part of like a magical ability. And so juggling was in the book, and I had never seen that before or since. Actually, I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I just haven't seen it. Carrot and the Luggage, yeah, and Rincewind. How could you leave Rincewind out? Rincewind is one of my favorite Discworld characters. Well, and the Patrician. I like the Patrician only because he's like contained menace that knows when to exert the influence that he needs to exert. And his assistant is also really good. I forget the assistant's name, but the Patrician is a really great character. Yeah, Silverberg's Lord Valentine series is fantastic. Excuse me. If you haven't read Lord Valentine series by Robert Silverberg, do yourself a favor and pick them up. They are awesome. And this is a throwback, but I think Robert Silverberg is still writing today too. So yeah. The Lord Valentine's series is, I read it several times when I was much younger. Carrie Ann says, back in the 80s, way back for me. I'm so young. In fact, I was told it's never going to take off. Yeah, that person is probably eating their words right now. If they told you that fantasy fiction wasn't going to take off. I was telling someone recently that the world exists on stories. Fantasy fiction is the big part of that. So yeah. And there's no way you can say fantasy fiction wouldn't take off. Most of what drives Hollywood is fantasy fiction. So things like that. Jenny says, my TBR is going to explode after this. Yes, it is. Yeah. Shell says, the luggage kind of gave me nightmares. Oh, but don't forget the librarian. The librarian is also. Drumknot. Yes, Davina, Drumknot. Oh, Drumknot is the perfect foil to the Patrician because of the way his answers are. It's fantastic. Terry's a master at his writing, so it's hard to even think about emulating that because he was so accomplished. Hello, Marshall. Welcome. Hello, Anne. Let's see. Anne says it's been years for Lord. Yeah, it's time. Silverberg's is the Madripoor Chronicles. Yes, and wow, yeah, that's a complete. He created a whole world. And it's fantastic. So definitely, if you haven't read Robert Silverberg and you haven't read the Lord Valentine series, you should, for sure. And Paige is giving you what it is if you haven't read it. Let's see. All right, so let's get to our questions because we have about 11 minutes, 12 minutes. And so we're going to start with, let's see what Karen said. Jasper Ford is so good, but he's like Marmot. Yeah, he's very polarizing, but I like him. So, but he's really good. He's really good. I like Jasper Ford. He's very different, but I personally enjoy his writing. Granny Weatherwax, I know we're deviating a bit, but Granny Weatherwax is a fantastic side character from Sir Terry, and I like the fact that she's not totally good. Like, she does what's right, but that doesn't make her good, if you get what I mean. Like, she's a character who, you know, if she's got to bend the rules, she will, but she will do what's right. And she's not necessarily good. David Dalglish is also very good. I mean, you guys, we could be here all day with authors because that's just the world of fantasy and urban fantasy is phenomenally large and awesome. So write down all the recommendations, Jenny. Your TBR is going to be screaming after this. All right, so let's get to the questions because Audrey got us some questions. Let me see if I can find the questions right now. Boom. Let's see. Yes. Questions for Friday from Audrey, our question queen. You guys got to step up your game because every Mob TV Cafe Clutch, Audrey brings the questions, okay? So here we go. How do you select the names of your characters? Wow, Audrey, that's a great question. I wish I could say I sat down and, you know, magically created these names, but the characters come to me with their names. It's really amazing. Like, Monty and Simon. So what happened was Monty came to me as Tristan Montague. It's just he had to be a Tristan, and then I was pondering what kind of name would kind of give the weight of a mage the kind of pedigree that a name like Tristan. And so Montague, you know, Shakespeare Montague and, you know, the Capulets, and I started thinking, hey, yeah, Tristan Montague would be a fantastic name. And so Simon's name had to be a little bit more kind of action oriented, more American, because remember I was pairing a Brit and an American, and so they had to have some kind of friction even in their names. So Tristan Montague you can definitely see as this kind of mage who's British, who's refined. And then you got Simon Strong, you can kind of see him a little bit different, more American, more, you know, a little bit grittier, right? So you've got someone who's refined and someone who's less refined. And the fact that only Simon, if you realize in any of the books, only Simon calls Tristan Monty, because he's never going to call him Tristan. It's just not in Simon to call him Tristan. He would call him Monty. That's just the way it is. And that's just their temperament. But that's the story behind that name. Now, a lot of names have Japanese influence. If you notice, a lot of the vampires are Japanese. Someone pointed that out, that a lot of the vampires are Japanese. There are some that aren't, and you'll be seeing them later on. So the vampires have Japanese names because the influence comes from Japan, from this line, from this clan. Like Michigo's clan of vampires are Japanese, so they have Japanese names. Let's see. Ramirez just came as Ramirez. He came as Angel Ramirez. Complete, like that's just, you know, kind of a harried NYTF guy. And, you know, that's how he kind of arrived. So, yeah. So the names just come, they just come the way the characters come with the names. This is the strangest thing. I don't pretend to know how this happens, but it happens. Let's see, Darren asks, Davina says Aaron says I need to add an Ayrton. I definitely will. Yes. Darren says, how detailed do you plot out your books? I guess I'm like a hybrid plotter outliner. I'll outline the books with a very loose framework, but it's not exactly this happens, this happens, this happens. I kind of use a framework, and then I have room to grow with that, but I also have a roadmap. So yeah. Let's see. Cynthia says, well, what do we know about Simon's family? Nothing right now, because my old brain doesn't remember anything. No, your old brain is working fine, Cynthia. We don't know anything about Simon's family, and we won't find out much until Requiem, which is the next book after Walking the Razor. Yeah, next book. Jeanette says, I keep wondering if the thematic elements around power, and particularly Simon's reluctance to gain power versus the attitudes of the magical classes. The thing is that Simon is being thrust into this world. So imagine being raised around something and always having it as part of your life and having something introduced to you as an adult. And that's why you see Simon's reluctant to embrace power or use it Whereas you see for Monty, it's natural because it's something that he was born into. Whereas Simon was it's something he was thrust into. And so it's two very different attitudes in terms of the use of power and the acquiring of power. And if you think about it, Simon's outside looking in and he can see how dangerous and how damaging it could be. And Monty is inside looking out, and for him it's like, why wouldn't you? This is normal. This is the way it should be. Very different perspectives, and that's done intentionally. Marcia says, how do you keep all the backstories straight? I'm insane. And do you have a written system and mechanic? I'm working on I have a system, but we're working on creating an actual Bible between me and Dolly. I can't think of a word I'm trying to say. Yeah, Marcia, it's all straight in my head, and I know I've explained this before, but I have what we call a mansion, I have a construct, very much like Sherlock Holmes does, and so all the stories and all the characters and all the books are in their own little rooms inside my head. If the walls ever get knocked down, I'm in trouble. Bye, Carrie. Have a great weekend. Davina says, I would not be reluctant to embrace power. Yes, except that Simon has probably seen it corrupted, so that's probably why he's reluctant. Tina wants to know, are there any non-grumpy mages? No, Tina, all mages are grumpy. So, yeah, that's just it's just the nature. Not all of them are grumpy. Dex is not grumpy. Dex is just free and crazy, you know? Malcolm wants to know, are we getting the Bloodroot trilogy in paperback? Most likely, yes, because it's long enough, especially with the last one, which was 40K. Jeez, it's long enough to be a paperback, so most probably, yes. Davina wants to know, do you mean like a character database? Yeah, someone was working on something like that for Wiki, but it's kind of fallen to the side. But we are going to eventually create something like that. Yes. Darren said, I've never met anyone. Yeah, Mind Palace that used that memory device. Oh, I'm reading Darren's thing. That's awesome. How long it took me years to create that, Darren, because it's an exercise. Yeah. Davina says, I just accept my corruption. Yes, the villain laugh is very appropriate there. Go see Craig Zimic, please. He's our resident villain. There's a reason for that, shall we say humanity. Well, Monty's human also, but it's just that it's the relation to magic. So grumpy is a defining mage characteristic, and Dex is proof of the pudding. Yeah, Dex is grumpy, but Dex is fun grumpy. A lot of mages are just grumpy, not so much fun. And wants to know, is there a threat large enough to bring all the characters from all the series together to find it? Book 21, there will be. We're heading there, Anne. It's kind of like an Avengers thing. And there is a threat that's been prevalent through all the books, and when it's revealed, you're gonna go, oh my God, it's been there all along. That's what's gonna happen. All right, next question from Audrey. Where do you see yourself in 20 years? 20 years older? I don't know, 20 years? Hopefully on an island relaxing, not having to write as much. How's that? I don't know where I see myself in 20 years. That's a long time. And then at the same time, it's not a long time. It's short. So I try to be in the now, in the present. In 20 years, all the tribe will be grown up. So I expect to see a lot of, kids, grandkids, hopefully, because 20 years from now, they'll be living their lives. They'll be adults. We'll see in 20 years. Dolly and I will be retired on an island somewhere that doesn't get hit by hurricanes regularly. Okay, what is the one thing you bought that you later realized was a waste of money? Mangosteen. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Dolly reminds me of it constantly. Mangosteen. All right, Karen wants to know, how many have you got planned out? How many what, Karen? How many books? So you might have to be a little clearer. Let's see. Yeah, so those are all the questions. If you have questions, this is the time to ask. We have about 5 minutes left. So if you have a question, ask it now. And don't forget, we're going to be here tomorrow to hang out with John Logson. Oh, how many books? In the Monty Strong series, right now we're at 21 books planned. but I think it's going to continue. 21 books planned in this current arc. That will end this current arc. At 21, the arc will end, and then at that point, I get to see whether Monty and Strong continues, or we kind of finalize it, kind of put a bow in it, and then start something else within that world. We'll see. But it has 21 books slated, so we'll see. Oh, yeah, Jeanette, I don't know about Australia. I've seen 72 things that try to kill you in Australia. Bye, Darren. Take care. Totally enjoyed having you here. Everything I hear about Australia is that everything is trying to kill me. So I don't know about Australia as an island to go live in. I know it's a big island though, and it's spread out. So we'll see. Maybe living in the outback. But Australia seems like way out there and deadly. Dolly, question. Hey, if you have any questions for Dolly, please don't forget to ask, because I will make sure that she answers them. Dolly, do you have any other UF author or have you read any other UF author or other fantasy author? Dolly? Yay! Questions for Dolly. We're going to have a whole section called Questions for Dolly. She's going to answer them. She's going to type. She's not going to speak because she doesn't want to speak. But Dolly wants to know, are mages human or mutation of separate species? Do they breed with humans? Mages are human, except that they've managed to manipulate energy differently from normal humans. So they're not normal humans. I wouldn't call them a mutation, maybe further along in an evolution of human, but not so much a mutation. And definitely not a separate species because they're human. But they've learned to manipulate energy. So still human, just a different variation. Not a separate species and not a mutation, but they've learned to, work with energy. Monty Strong, the next generation. Yeah, I don't know about that. Look, another question for Dolly. Guys, keep asking her questions. How do you deal with the insanity of a writer? Oof. Yeah, that's going to be tough. That would be interesting if he had a kid one-sided during his misspent youth. Yeah, we'll see. That's a good thing about it. There's so many possibilities. Davina wants to know, is it genetic or can any human learn it? Any human can learn it, as we're seeing with Simon. So it's not just genetic. It's a matter of frequency. Remember, as I said, how we all vibrate at a certain frequency? It's learning what the frequencies are and then learning to manipulate those frequencies and learning to align with specific frequencies. Marcia says, so are mages born or taught to use? They're born in mage families, but they're taught to use the magic. And anyone can learn it, but you have to learn how to manipulate the energy. Hello, Joy. Welcome. We're almost done, so I'm glad you're here. Practice. Yes, as Chris said, practice. As Jeanette says, awareness. And this is why you have a lot of the gestures, if you look in old things, the gestures they're real things. A lot of these gestures that Monty does are real things, but they're mnemonics, which is why they're used to remember certain things. Very different from wizards, which use staves or staves as a focus. A mage is the focus. So I've made that kind of distinction. So you guys, I've made it throughout the books, and which is why Monty doesn't like being referred to as a wizard. It's not a matter of pride per se, even though he is kind of proud. It's a matter of recognizing the level of skill it takes to be a mage. That you don't need a focus. You are the focus. Audrey says quantum entanglement. Yeah, very much so. If you look at the ZAZZLE conversations, the quantum aspect of that is drilling down to the minutia and the microcosm of the universe and the world. And now we're getting into a lot of deep things where Jim is really qualified to speak of, where a lot of that stuff that happens at the quantum level can be viewed as magic at our level. Like two things affecting each other, spooky action at a distance, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Malcolm says, I gather the first step would be knowing that energy can be... Yes, that would be the first step, is that awareness, that knowing. All right, guys, we're pretty much done. Jeez. Davina says, I think Simon is actually the villain and his immortality is karmic punishment from past misdeeds. Let's see. And Callie chose him because he has served her really well. The amount of death and destruction he caused. Yeah, he has caused quite a bit. But it's not his fault. Remember, there are always extenuating circumstances. And very much so, to know, to will, to dare. That's kind of a foundational tenet in the world of magic. But to be able to dare, you have to know. So, yeah. Exactly, Jeanette. A focus is what Monty had to use in Homecoming because his magic was acting. He was going through a phase. All right, Chris, go enjoy lunch because I'm about to get off right now. So you guys, listen, have a fantastic weekend. As always, be safe. We're still in the middle of a pandemic, so please don't sleep on that. Be safe, wear your mask, wash your hands, social distance, be careful. My little Valkyrie wants to say goodbye, so say goodbye.
Bye.
She wants to say goodbye. And, you know, Monday is Happy Indigenous Day, so if you're indigenous to the country, this is your day. We don't do Columbus Day anymore, is what I've been learning. So, Jeanette, really go back to sleep because it's like 3:30 in the morning at this point. Thank you for being here. Everyone have a great, great weekend. Thank you for being here with us. We had a fantastic crowd. Have a great weekend, and most of all, be excellent. Bye.